So James Franco's name came up almost right away when it comes to that certain Aquaman starlet's witnesses. And when you start reading between the lines, when you start looking at the dates, looking at all of the evidence, what you see is affair confirmed, betrayal by that certain Aquaman starlet confirmed. Yeah, I don't think this is the way that James Franco wanted this to go at all. Now, something that I find fascinating about this was just how quickly that certain Aquaman starlet threw James Franco under the bus. He didn't want any part of this. He made that very, very clear, but that was always his purpose, to come out and to take down JD. I think the dates speak to that. I think the actions speak to that. You and I, we're going to look at that today. Essentially, you had that certain Aquaman starlet betray James Franco yet again when he outlived all of his usefulness. Crazy times, huh? Crazy times indeed. So, hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing excellently. And as you probably know by now, James Franco was supposed to originally testify in this case. That certain Aquaman starlet had actually marked him down as one of her key witnesses. But James Franco, he didn't want anything to do with this, and that, I don't think that made her very happy because, like I was saying before, I think he was always meant to be a tool to take JD down. See, honestly, that's why I think there was a relationship at all in the first place. And well, you know what James Franco's weakness is. It's the ladies. It got him in trouble quite a bit in Hollywood. And if you look at what that certain Aquaman starlet's first witness was saying, yeah, it seems like there's some pieces that come together right here that start off a relationship with James Franco. And there's more pieces than this as well. So if you look at this list here, and again, this is the therapist that ended up doing the psychological evaluation. Again, this was the first witness for that certain Aquaman starlet. They listed intimate relationships. You'll notice you have Travis here. You have other people like Valentino. You have Mark, Tasha, Johnny, and then highlighted over here in the corner, you have one person that sticks out. Now, if you look at that column here, this person, they're coded as JF. Now, they were asked exactly who JF was. They divulged that this was James Franco. And if you really want to gauge what type of relationship that they had, well, look who they're listed with. They're listed with none other than the Rocket Man. Now, James Franco, they say they're quote-unquote friends. But along with friends, what's that other part right there? Got close. Now, they give a date when they're going to get close, too. And that is very, very important for what we're talking about. They say, got close, but really wanted to be with JD. But look at that date there. We're talking about December 2015. That's when you're going to have a lot of incident, a lot of accusations supposedly pop up. And all of that, it's going to snowball until the next 6 months. And again, she needs some eyewitnesses. I think that's why you have James Franco here. I think you're seeing the start of an affair. And also, you have Rocket Man, like I said. Now, there's another note that I feel that names James Franco, and really, you have to follow this logic here. You have James Franco, he quote-unquote gets close December 2015. His true usefulness, it would pop up in May 2016. And of course, you have to have some stuff that bridges that gap. Now, the person that's testifying here, this was JD's witness. We had one of the nurses working for Dr. Kipper. And listen to this note on 5/11/2016. We're talking about 11 short days from when we find James Franco. He's on an elevator. JD has left 1 day before that, and he's packing an overnight bag. Listen to this. So RN visited CT at her home in downtown Los Angeles. CT is provided with 2 weeks worth of prepared daily medication boxes for upcoming travel to New York City. CT is visiting with assistant Savannah, friends Rocky and Josh. CT discusses discussed her birthday trip to Coachella Music Festival, so she talks about all of that. She admits to illicit use during the trip. She states that she ingested mushrooms, MDMA, simultaneously while consuming alcohol, states she vomited while quote-unquote high for at least 24 hours straight. RN reminded CT that that type of use will not be tolerated by medical staff and that any medications or drugs that are not prescribed can cause interference and cause adverse effects with her prescribed medication. Now, CT, she's going to laugh about that. And she also reports illicit use on 05/09/2016 at the home of a high-profile male acquaintance. CT reported that her husband was not aware of that male visitor, somebody that comes around there, or that illicit use. Now, less than 2 weeks after that note is taken, we have this incident transpire. If you look at the date on this, too, I think that this is particularly telling because this pops up on 05/22/2016. JD, he ends up leaving 05/21/2016. That's one of the alleged incidents by that certain Aquaman starlet, by the way. She says, the final incident, incident 14, it pops off in that day. And in fact, I always wondered why she let that note be taken. She said that Dr. Kipper and his staff, they were there to spy on her. They were reporting back to JD. She believed that. If she really did, maybe she wanted all of this to pop off earlier or to even be a little bit worse. Regardless of the reason why, though, again, we are talking about less than 1 day after JD is out the door. She's in communication with him. You see who that is? None other than James Franco. He has an overnight bag with him, but also, when she alleges things about JD, she says, yeah, James Franco, he was actually on the elevator with me. He came up to my loft, and you know what he had to say about this stuff? He said, oh man, what happened to your face? He was essentially going to be a very useful tool in all of this. He was going to be an eyewitness. We're going to have Elon Musk that were going to be eyewitnesses as well. You have to remember in 2016, too, he was seen as a ladies' man. He wouldn't have the baggage he did now. He seemed as somebody that would come in and he would ride to your rescue. And that certain Aquaman starlet thought she had him hooked enough that she still put him down as one of her witnesses here. When he didn't show up either, when he didn't weaponize the way that she wanted, she turned around and she used him in a different way in this case. He's been trending for days because of it. His name was brought up as somebody JD was jealous of. She dropped his name. Witnesses dropped his name. And in other cases, too, you've had witnesses say, yeah, this guy, he was around at the ECB building. He was seen a lot of times. That tells you affair confirmed. That says betrayal confirmed. Oh, man, what a mess, James. What a mess indeed. But anyway, let me know what you think about this. And check out our link to our book. It's in the description. That's our way of combating the industry that allowed this to happen. Walk away from that mess. Walk towards something better. Hold that up, too, and say, yeah, this is where our money goes. Help us send that. Thank you, too. Appreciate you. Ending here. Thank you again. See you soon.